Hey there, everyone. I'm Samuel Johnson, and that is a poster of Jupiter ascending. Yes, I pointed that out once again for those who have been watching me for over the year, and for those of you who aren't, allow me to explain what this video is about. As I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, for the past year, I've been doing a series of videos wherein I've been recording every Friday. I watched an episode of the classic Ben 10 series for the original, for those who want me to be more specific. And after I watched each episode, I would record my thoughts in a usually 10 to 15 minute video, with some videos that went over, especially the movies, which are clocked in around 40 minutes each. But over the past, at the end of my overall, I didn't really talk about this in my last vlog, but my overall, from watching that show, it felt really nostalgic. Rewatching that show it was really nostalgic. It felt nice going back to this show that I grew up watching as a kid, and for so long I considered my favorite show of all time before I grew up and found other shows. But it would even now, even after watching it after all these years, I still found it to be a rather I still found it to be a rather nice experience. It was fun. The show was dumb and silly and just kind of weird in some parts, but it wasn't bad in those regards because it enjoyed what it was. It embraced the dynamics of superheroes. It had a nice it had a nice humor to it. Had awesome action scenes. Had likable characters that had their own little arcs that sometimes would, for some reason, be forgotten about in certain episodes. It was fun. It's a nice, fun, stupid little show that honestly I enjoyed watching again. And honestly, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you have seen it, I would still recommend going back to it because because even after all this time, it was still very nice to watch, and it's still something that I think any fan of superheroes or just cartoons, or just any kid that likes cartoons and superheroes could probably get into. So anyway, with that out of the way, you might after I finished with anyway, as I mentioned in the last video of those in the last video for those vlogs, I said that the week after this week, at the time of this recording, no duh. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted again, and I'm saying stupid things. But I said at the end of my last vlog that I would be making a new series of videos that would take place after these ones. I did kind of spoil what those videos were in some videos prior to the end of my last series, but I'm just gonna as such, this week I'm gonna be doing a new vlog series for another series, and considering that over the past year I've been watching every single episode plus 3 movies of the classic Ben 10 series, I feel it's only natural to move on from the original to the next step up. And so, like with the classic Ben 10 series, for the next year, I'm going to be watching one episode a week of Ben 10 Alien Force. Again, you could probably have figured it out on your own, but pretty much like with Ben 10, for the next year, I'll be doing exactly what I just said. Watching an episode of Ben 10 Alien Force, briefly recording my thoughts on it, and then you can all judge for whether this is something you want to stick to or just walk away from. Probably walk away. But anyway, like with the Ben 10 with the Ben 10 retrospectives, I'm going to be doing this in the DVD order, so again, if there's an episode out of order, blame them. But otherwise, this is the same rules will apply. Watch an episode, briefly record thoughts, and I will be doing something different. Alien Force actually did have for the Ben 10 retrospectives, I did look at the 3 movies that came out for the series, but I kept them at the end because that was generally where they were, and I kind of wanted to group them together. Alien Force did have a movie, but it was one movie, and considering the content of the movie, I think that it's more that I'm gonna look at it in one certain section, but I'm gonna look at it not at the end, but after season 2. I kind of wanted to save that, but honestly, that's really all I think that's the best I can do. But otherwise, yeah, that's really much I have to say. Not much of a prologue. But then again, I recorded the last prologue a year ago. I didn't really watch it. But bottom line, while I'm gonna be looking, while the Ben 10 retrospectives are over and done with, the Alien Force retrospectives have just begun. So, tune in I guess a half hour or so, whatever. As I will be looking at the very first episode of Ben 10 Alien Force. So, again, to any viewers who are joining me after watching the Ben 10 retrospectives, see you again at the next video. And for those who are jumping on in Ben 10 Alien Force, I pity you.